Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here tonight with an ongoing Dungeons & Dragons 5e campaign titled Beneath the Banner's Shadow. This campaign takes place in a homebrew world of mine known as Rosfine, particularly in the kingdom of Vykaril, which is very heavily based on Arthurian mythology and English and German folklore. And history. So yeah, I'm very excited to be getting back to this. It's been a little while since we've gotten the chance to play, but this is going to be session 55 of this campaign, titled The Fair-Faced Lady. So we're going to get started here in just a moment, but before we do, I want to give the same warning that I give on the beginning of all of my games, and that is if foul language and mature subject matter are a problem for you, then this is not a great place for you to spend time. But if those things don't bother you, then settle in, because we're probably going to try to push those boundaries a little bit. But speaking of pushing boundaries, I want to pass things over to my players so that they can give their introductions, plug whatever they've got going on, tell you where you may or may not be able to find them on the internet, and then I think we can go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with Baron.
Hey everybody, I'm Baron. You can find me here Fridays in the future for a couple weeks. Running a zombie apocalypse Falcopia game, which went fairly well. Outside of that, you can find me over on Mini Terrain Domain on Mondays with Karen, as we have a recurring campaign over there using Pathfinder. But other than that, you can find me here once a month, most of the time, as Masaka Tord, the paladin who has so many directions to travel in so little time.
Don't we all? Yeah, man. Friday was a tremendous kickoff for that series, and I'm very excited to see where it's going to land. I'm having a lot of fun with that character concept and the setting, of course. So yeah, very, very eager to see how that all plays out. All right. Speaking of eager, next up is Karen.
It may not be eager, but it can be had. That's all. Well, hello everyone. I'm Karen, also known as Myth and Gears. Don't look for me anywhere else because I don't do socials no more. Because why? So I can be found here a couple of nights every month. The Evermore game and got this one. These are my loves of my life. And the other place you can find me is on Mondays, like Baron said, Mondays at Mini Terrain Domain, and every other Tuesday also on Mini Terrain Domain. Though I'm not sure for how much longer because that one's a brutal one, and we've almost had like we've had 2 TPKs and almost another 2, so it's brutal. By the skin of our teeth. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, your daughter's vicious. But a very, very good DM as well. So definitely go check out Mini Terrain Domain stuff. Jake's a good friend of the channel, so is Vi. And most of the players on there are people that I love gaming with. So go check them out. They do good stuff. All right. Speaking of doing good stuff, next up is Eli.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eli. I am thrilled to be back. When I'm not here, I don't really play in any other games, not any that stream anyway. And otherwise, you can find me publishing games as the Mythic Gazetteer. I sort of went on sabbatical back in October, and I haven't really super come back, but I am working on some games here and there. It's just hard to find the time with a toddler running around. So, yeah, excited to be here. Looking forward to playing, and I'll be playing, as always, Sir John Lightenor, a knight of the realm of Vykaril.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, this game's been running for a long time. 8 years, I think, is what we're like kind of approaching. But I actually knew you like 2-3 years before we even started this game. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time you and I have known each other. It's been delightful.
Indeed. I even got to meet you in person one time, which was tremendous.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I wanna make that happen again.
Hell yeah, absolutely. All right. Speaking of have met in person, which I have not, I think you're actually the only person on this screen that I haven't had the chance to meet in person yet, Steve. Steve?
It's because I don't exist in person.
Shh.
Right. Yeah, so I'm Steve. You can't find me anywhere except for this. Like, I think this is the only game I play right now because life went sideways. It's calmer now, sort of. We'll find out on Monday if I have to have surgery. Like, well, I do, but we don't know when yet. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. They put 6.5 feet of mesh in my stomach to try and make things better. And then I had to pick my mom up out of the floor and apparently tore it. So, hey, whatever, surgery 21. Here we go. It is a lot of mesh. When they told me like 6.5 feet, I was like, I know I'm a little chubby, but how? They're like, we doubled it up so it wouldn't tear. I'm like, hold my beer. So yeah. But yeah, so I do this. I do a lot of volunteering now. Like I do a food bank stuff. I do a homeless shelter. I do like community dinners. And then I do actually play in one other game. I run a game for a bunch of young teens who wanted to get into it, all of which come from less fortunate families. So we do that. As long as their grades are good, they're not in trouble at school. Otherwise, we don't play. That's kind of the caveat. Is They have to be doing well at school. But it's cool, if they can come and be like, hey, I'm having trouble with X, Y, or Z. And I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I went through middle school and high school. So I know how to do that stuff. So yeah, it's okay.
Hell yeah, man. It's amazing. Especially being able to help them and give them something to look forward to, and that be through the lens of tabletop role-playing games. That's incredible. Always makes me happy to hear that kind of stuff. And good on you for volunteering and doing that. Okay. So, I think, without further ado, there's a couple other things that I do need to talk about. The shields that you will see throughout the game, most of them were designed by a wonderful artist named Rachel Ayers. And the character art that you see on the side of the player's windows was created by Augusto, an artist that was commissioned by Steve. Thank you to both of you, tremendous artists, for creating bespoke art for this game. It's a really, really badass feeling to have that kind of thing for a long-term game. What else? Oh, during the break and in the post stream, you will hear music from our former player Josh. The one that you will hear on the break is titled Sword Sister, and the one from the post stream is known as Swordbreaker. Both of them are fantastic pieces of music that, again, he created specifically for this campaign. So stick around, listen to them. It's pretty badass. Okay, without further ado, I think, finally, we're ready to play. Are y'all ready? All right, let's do it. You row through the mist-shrouded waters surrounding Iberilath, a mysterious island disappearing more and more with each stroke of the oars. Shapes materialize on the outlying rocks to watch you pass. Figures of bramble and the magic of the old ways. The reverential power of this place renders you with a growing sense of sadness at your departure, as if leaving behind something familiar, something raw, something essential. But you know your quest is not yet over, and that the tasks laid before you will demand a far steeper price beyond that which you have already paid. For the sake of Vykaril, however, someone must. We rejoined the group of you in a boat that is made from the gnarled roots and vines of some magical vessel that was summoned to bring you to this island. And it now carries you away across the surface of Lake Kelmium and back to the shores of the human portion of the kingdom of Vykaril. You had defeated the ghost of Waldur Gabrain, and you have honed Camagel to a razor-sharp edge. You also reunited Vitdrisne, the Witch of Famine, with her sacred Linealoth tree. All of you realizes that you have completed the latest stanza of the prophecy that was foretold of the reforging of the sword. And you know the next stanza, which reads that the sword must be hardened in the fire of a dragon. So as we rejoin the group of you in this boat, rowing back to the shore with Furne with you, what is the conversation like? What do we set the scene upon? No? Boat sinks, all die? Cool. Game over,
Rocks
guys.
fall.
Well done.
Swords
8 years,
forged.
finished.
We did it.
We've played all the roles. Done.
That's right. The ending everyone was looking forward to. Water.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
Ah.
I think Sir John is in the boat and kind of like looking back over the water toward the island. I imagine it's probably obscured by fog like a long time ago and can't really see it anymore, but he is nonetheless kind of looking back in that direction, and like he's been lost in thought for a long time. And then I think without turning his head or anything, he'll just kind of say, so Dane, was legend what you expected it to be this time?
I I suppose that would depend on what you mean. Um uh you know, if you're I don't know. I guess if you're asking, am I surprised to find out that one of the heroes of the story was a villain? Maybe before all this started, I would have had a hard time thinking that the heroes in the stories could be villains. But with everything we've seen, I mean, I guess anyone can be a villain, right? It's just depends on how how the story's written, who wrote it, I suppose.
Makes you wonder how our story will be smoothed over, cleaned of its rough edges and its dirty realities.
If anyone bothers to write of it.
At this point, I think we've achieved more than about a dozen legends I can think of offhand, so even if we were to die in this boat right now, I think there'd be legends about us someday.
Maybe.
As much as it pains me to admit it, he is right. There are a lot in the Fae Kingdom who are already talking about your grand exploits.
Oh yes, and what do they say of me?
Like I would do you the favor.
Well, if you change your mind, you know where to find me.
But that's just it, isn't it? The details of the story only matter so much. The other half of it is who writes it. Story written by Ari's people about us is going to sound very different than if Eddard were to write one. And it would sound very different than if in your aged old years you dictate your adventures to some young scribe. They'll all be very different. We're the only ones who get to see what we actually do. Everyone else just gets to see the results. They don't know the choices that we have to make. And Dana's like staring at his arm now, right? This is weird. The rust is gone. The sword has sort of been cleansed and sanctified in a way. And now the next step is to go roast Dane in front of a dragon. Right. So, you know, they don't see the hard choices. They don't see the sacrifice. They don't see the children and grandchildren, the fathers, the mothers, the wives. They see glinting swords, burning witches.
These stories that you're always quoting, were they not the same case?
Polished? Definitely. You don't
And-
think about that when you're a little kid, though.
But you think about it now. Clearly, it weighs on you,
All the time.
and it has driven you to make interesting choices. But obviously,
Better choices, I hope.
Well, yes, but that's my point. Maybe your story will likely inspire some other human brat at some point in the future. Without knowing the details.
I mean, I suppose if someone had told us right up front everything this would cost us, can we all honestly look at it and say we'd still be here? I mean, I would. But I've only lost, well, an arm. But I mean, you guys, the people that you've lost.
We all lose people, Dane.
Oh, I know. Been on both sides of it. I don't know. Maybe when I'm old, I'll dictate the story. Polish it. Stress that it's not all about witches and swords, talon strikes. It's about the barrels, uphill and downhill.
Sounds like a riveting story.
Don't worry, I'll include the part where they, made us eat sticks and stuff for a laugh, I guess.
I think
Oh,
I think those stories tend to be more about faith. That the forces of good will triumph over the forces of evil. You ask, would we have gone knowing the cost? I don't really think I ever considered the cost. I just had to believe that what I was doing was right. And that the forces of good will win.
we've had some moments, some results where it didn't always feel like that. But I mean, looking back at this island, I mean, that's a pretty clear case of good one, right? Like there's not a questionable part of that, right?
But there was a cost. How long has this island festered?
Oh, I mean, sometime. And it's interesting that the cost this time wasn't even ours to bear.
Without that cost, Mathuran Gabrain never would have been born.
I'm not saying that I never want it to rain, right? What's that farmer thing that like if it never rains, you don't know what a sunny day is or something like that,
Sure.
right? Yeah.
It sounds like a human thing to say.
But it doesn't rain in the Feylands.
Oh, it does. I just can't imagine that one would complain about it.
Well, that's kind of the point, is to not complain about it. You're smarter than you look.
They kind of like grimace at you with a fake smile.
So I'm just gonna ask the question, where do we find a dragon? We saw the white dragon, but I
So
don't
I've been
think
walking around for a while. Can I roll some dice to see if I know anything about any dragons?
Sure. Um, Probably a history check, maybe nature.
I'd like to join that.
Sure.
I'm really bad at both of those. Can I push for animal handling?
No, I don't think so.
I think nature is probably more. I got a 10.
Okay.
12 for me.
Okay.
What about good old fairy tale dragons?
And mine was a history.
I mean, I could do it off of history also.
Yep.
You know, sort of.
Yeah, I would count that as history. Imagine in this day and age, written word and oral hand down of stories are treated about the same, whether it's fiction or not.
Mine will be a 29, but that's because that's what
Holy
Nick's good at.
shit. Okay. So Sir John and Tord, you have heard tale of dragons before. You've heard, tale of many knights who have had epic battles with dragons, have slain them. But you've never heard of anybody who's actually seen one. Other than yourselves who have seen one flying overhead, you've never encountered one that you know of, at least face to face. Doesn't seem like you really can recall any that would be in the area, that would be local. Dane, apparently you are pretty well read about dragons, which, somewhat stands to reason. And you know that there are far fewer dragons around than there used to be. That at one time, the world was actually devastated to the point of being mostly like barren and ash by dragons. And that there was a group of people who practiced magic and who grew to enough power to form a revolution, fought back, and almost drove the dragons to a point of extinction. Those individuals went on to become the Pantheon of Rostveen. And since that time, dragons have been a lot more rare. But you have read of maybe 24 like named beasts, named dragons over the course of the history of Rosteen, or the history of Vykaril, rather. And you know that there are a few that are legend to still live. And you know one of them is known as where's her name? Nepharamis. 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 Who names these things? God bless it. What a weirdo.
What does it mean?
That's a great idea. That's a great question. This you suspect, based on the descriptions written about Nepharamis, that it is a white dragon, a white or silver colored dragon, and you think that it's very possible that that's the dragon that you have seen flying, at least on one occasion before.
I am not quick to volunteer that information. Yeah. Like, hey guys, you get my arm burned off. He's right over here.
Well, does he breathe fire though? Or she, they? What if it's an ice dragon?
Right, which is
Not what we need.
Mm-hmm. You don't remember any of the stories mentioning her breathing fire.
Problematic.
But she might know the other dragons, you see, and maybe more than we do. We could ask her.
Yeah, we do have somewhat of a rapport with her.
Do we?
I'm fairly
No,
certain
didn't-
she's the one that's put us on this path in the beginning. In the
Wasn't
first
there
place,
a-
she was, yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, right, Tort? Right, that lady?
she was like a small little elderly woman that was also
Yeah.
a dragon.
Aye, that
no,
one.
no.
Right.
You are referring to the White Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that you have had reason to suspect that at the very least. I don't think it has been confirmed one way or the other.
Ah, okay.
Well, not at all, but Ari in her heart believes 100%. That's what we need.
absolutely fair. Yeah.
I don't think that would be the case for Tord. So that was all just thoughts and Tord said then. I don't know anything about this dragon.
I know when we were talking to Baneshell, that he had mentioned he had interaction with an ancient dragon. Hunting it, I think. And lost track of it somewhere in the dwarf lands. So all right. So White Witch option. And then Ari could get a message to Baneshell to maybe ask more about the ancient dragon that he knew of. I mean, at least we have an inn with the dwarves also, right?
I mean, I suppose we could do those things simultaneously.
Right.
I don't
As
remember how to find the White Witch.
I
If we ever knew.
as if on cue, as you near the shoreline of the lake, you spot a figure standing knee deep in the water, appearing to be washing clothes. Dane, from this distance, you can see the golden trusses that identify the washing woman. She's not necessarily where you're aiming the boat currently, but it's not far from your,
right.
destination.
Option 3.
All of you can see this woman, by the way. Most of you for the first time. She kind of stops what she's doing. It looks like she's maybe catching her breath, and you can see her kind of like pull a hand up to her brow and kind of shield her eyes against the sun a little as she's looking out in your direction.
I imagine she's going to have something to say to me.
Why would that woman have something to say to you?
Do you know her?
Mm-hmm. I have I've known her for a while, and mistaken who I thought she was a couple of times. And
Oh, Dane, just out with it already.
um
Who is she?
I don't know how to phrase it. So as she is some sort of entity that was around when the sword was first forged and Vykaril was sort of set about its existence, and she's one that's helped bring me back from the dead, and where ostensibly everything I can do comes from. I don't have a better way to phrase. She's not like, and I point over at Fairnay, she's not like him. Them. I don't think.
Definitely not.
She's something else. She can communicate with me and the sword. But also, like I said, all of the healing I can do, all of the magic I can do. I thought at one point she was my aunt or my grandmother or my great grandmother. Something. I think she's a large part of why I'm here. She was there when Toby died. She was there when I died, and she was there and gave me the sword. And she's been right behind us or right in front of us the entire time. I'm not trying to hide anything. I just don't have a way to explain her. She's powerful. And she's a force of good, I think. So I can ask her about the dragon.
You see her waving one hand kind of above her head. Hello, good morning.
And now you guys will get a chance to meet her. You know, my village was apparently full of very powerful individuals that I somehow grew up next to and didn't know about.
Do you head towards her then?
I I don't know who's in charge of steering the boat, but whomever it is at the moment, I guess it's probably Sir Tord or Sir John.
Probably.
I will steer us that way.
Okay.
All right.
You turn the boat a little and begin rowing her direction. And as you near, she kind of, makes sure that everything is out of your way. And you're able to kind of beach it ashore. She kind of looks this ship, this boat that you've been rowing. Sure is a strange looking ship. A boat.
I think it's magical.
You don't say.
I
Hello? She kind of like looks at the rest of you.
Oh, sorry. This is Sir John.
Oh, yes. Hello, Sir John. She extends a hand towards you.
I take it and I kiss her hand.
My.
It's like
I kind of like it's kind of actually like I'm kissing my thumb. It's the more polite version of it, but it's like it's the gesture. You know what I mean?
How chivalric.
This is Sir Tord.
Sir Tord, she extends her hand towards you.
I don't kiss it, but I'll take it, and
Give it like one big pump, like up and down.
nice to meet you. Put her there.
Oh, my.
No, I won't do that. Don't do that. It's much more refined,
Right. And this is
You must be Ari. She
I just
says as
nod.
she extends her hand towards you.
Ari just looks side-eyed at Dane for not remembering her name. But then we'll give a hand to the lady.
She shakes. Have all of you been told who I am?
Poorly.
See. Usually so eloquently spoken, Dane. You know what? It's okay. I am... Well, I'm known as the Washing Woman. Some of you may know me better by the name Camagel. I am a way that I can interact with the material world, talk and walk amongst you. I chose this appearance because it resembled Dane's grandmother, someone he had fond memories of, as do I. Your quest that you have been put on, along with Dane, has yielded no small amount of danger. But the next part that you are headed into is... It will be difficult for all of you to survive. She looks kind of pointedly at you, Dane.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought that it was time to perhaps meet all of you face to face, as it were. So if you have anything that I can do or help with, or questions that you might need answers for, I would like to provide those as best I can.
We were just talking about the situation of having to find a dragon. And the only one that we've ever seen is a white dragon. And none of us even know if they breathe fire. I know there's not very many dragons left. So, do we just go ask her? Or do you know of another dragon?
I have known of many dragons in my time, but I do not know which of them still live and which of them do not. But I do know of this dragon that you speak of. Mathuran has requested that I meet you here. She wishes to speak with you, all of you. So it's fitting that you are also looking for her. Well, she reaches her hand out over the water that she's still kind of standing knee-deep in, and moves her hand kind of palm down in a slow, like sweeping circular motion. And as she does so, she mutters quietly under her breath, and you hear the name Ephraimras muttered under her breath. The surface of the water becomes like perfectly still as she's doing this motion. And after just a moment, you can see a strong reflection. And in fact, you do see the woman you know as the White Witch. Her face reflected up out of the water. She looks towards you almost as if her name had been called. Like she's kind of turning like over her shoulder, looking at you with these kind of faded eyes. Ah, hello. You have completed another of your tasks, yes?
Yes.
Wonderful. Waldo Gabrain is at peace.
Much less disturbed than previous.
His
Good.
spirit no longer festers on the island.
Good. Then the Linealath tree has also been restored.
Yes.
She sighs with, like, obvious relief. Well, it appears, then, that your prophecy is almost at its conclusion. You must make haste. Things sour in the south of the kingdom. I will explain more of that in a moment, but you have a difficult trial ahead of you. You seek a dragon. But you pursue not the fire of any mere drake nor worm. The dragon you seek is known as Fordalstengan, but only the blaze of his breath will temper the sword with the resolve it will need to withstand the tests ahead. The Scarlet Magi, a powerful wizard named Favelian the Mythmaker, can tell you how to find him. We have tracked down the last known whereabouts of Favelian. He is locked away in Baldock Prison on the Isle of Chinoha. It is there you must travel. Find this dragon that you seek.
I don't know if that's better or worse than what I was expecting. It's
You-
nice that we know exactly who we're looking for, rather than just wandering around looking for a fire-breathing dragon. But why is he in prison?
That I am not certain of.
But it's safe to say it's not because he's a agreeable, nice person.
In my experience, those who end up imprisoned are not always vile. Perhaps you should ask him yourself.
So John kind of looks down into the ripples and says, "My lady, the island lies to the south and the war lies to the south. We must pass through. Do you know how fares my father and our armies?"
I do, yes. Perhaps it is better explained by someone else. And she kind of like turns, like in profile, to look beside her, and the visage that kind of materializes in the surface of the water is a face that you have met before, though it might be some surprise. You see the queen herself, Ada Il Shom, that appears. She says, "Yes, it is something that I asked to be able to talk to you about. Nathre Baramus was being held hostage at court to encourage his father's compliance. He was caught spying, and he made an attempt on my life. I killed him in the process. His father,
Hear, hear.
Lord Galvin, thank you. His father, Lord Galvin, has accused me of assassinating him. Given the recent rumors in the West, there are some who are inclined to believe him." She kind of moves aside, and you can see a war table behind her that displays a large model of the kingdom, in particular, like the southern portion. And if I can get my map up here. She reveals this war table, and you can see her move behind it, where she explains, "With the sacking of West Buckshire and Davonshire, Lord Baramus and his allies now control the entire southern shore of Vykaril. Houses Durholt and Haywin have no choice but to lend their swords to House Duvendel, and thus to Lord Baramus himself. The embers of war that embroiled Oxfeld recently are not yet cold, while Houses Lathelgren and Lightenor are rebuilding from the ashes. What remains of House Mellowain likely still foments resentment toward my crown, and could easily be rekindled into flames, benefiting Baramus's cause. Our hold there is tenuous at best. Shanine is unfortunately still recovering from troubles of their own and will be unlikely to stop any advance should the southern host flank east. Dundren is not but a village and has no fortifications. If it is attacked, it will fall. Blackbridge is a fortified abbey, and House Kreml has made their support of the crown known. House Livell is sending what reinforcements they can spare from Wintingham. However, they must also be prepared to defend our eastern approach. I sent word to House Wainwright in Cavalon yesterday. With the blessing of Gnall, they will be able to lend their support on the eastern front.
Do you know if sorry, hold on, I gotta look something up real quick. Do you know if House Wainwright from Cavalon or House Kane or House Pendrake from Ravenfleot are engaged in the south yet?
Not as of yet. Pendrake, I believe, will answer the call when asked. And Wainwright, I'm sorry, yes, Wainwright is will be lending their support to the Eastern Front.
Very well. With Ravenfleot being in the west, should it remain engaged already in the west, given the dissent you mentioned there?
If Ravenfleot has enough men to send, or enough soldiers to send, it would not be a bad idea to bolster at Calder.
Calder.
Calder is where we were once before. Long ago in the story.
Yeah, I remember something about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it in my notes, though, which sounds crazy.
Your town is Wall? Something Wall?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
It's the duchy or whatever of Kerwall, but the town itself is Oxfeld.
Yeah. Calder is nearby to Oxfeld.
Okay.
I think that's the former seat of House Mellowain. I think that's what ended up being lost in that skirmish.
Got it.
If I remember correctly.
My liege, one more question.
Of course.
Is House Astowin engaged?
As of now, they have not. I expect their answer forthwith. Their support of the crown has always been steady. I see no reason why that would change now.
If they say no, make it known that Sir John Lightnor moves south. If you will.
Very well. I will do so. Also, as a small side note, also, if I can get this full map. Nope. Where is the... Oh, that's disappointing. Okay, so fuller map of the majority of the Vykarilian kingdom. So the Isle of Chenoha, which is where Baldot Prison is located, is north off of the edge of this map. So you can see where it says, or where it shows like a deeper water, kind of at the edge on the north. It's beyond that. So you know that it would take some time to journey there from where you currently are.
So you're talking like northwest of Vykaril, like the city of Vykaril.
Yes. Well, yeah. No. So it's not on that map actually.
No, but northwest that of Vykaril, or
So it's kind of like dead north of Lexina. Like if you just
okay.
traveled like straight north of there, it's off the coast further north of the Umberwood.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's quite
I
a bit
would
further
like
north than y'all
to.
have traveled.
I was under the impression that the Isle of Chinoha was south, and I had mentioned earlier that we'd have to move south to get there. So is it okay if I retcon,
Absolutely.
like, saying definitively that Sir John was going south and all
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the island to the south is cleverly called South Island. That is
Cool.
yeah, that is where Baramus holds and where he launched his I don't know if you could really call it an invasion as per se, but that's where he's from. So it is a different island.
Cool.
Okay. I know I threw a lot of names at y'all. I think the only thing that I have not written in the chat for y'all is the dragon's name that you were seeking. Once again, it is a very easily pronounceable short name. For Dalstingan.
Cool. And so to make sure I understand, Fordaustengan is being held prison on Baldrock Prison on the Isle of Shinoha by the Scarlet Magi.
No, not quite.
Okay.
Apparently,
Scarlet Magi is in the prison. We have to break the guy out of the prison because he knows where the dragon is.
there you go.
Yeah.
Got it.
I like that better than what I thought. I thought the Scarlet Magi was the dragon and was just imprisoned in his human form. Okay. Glad Baron's here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he is our tactician, so
We're screwed.
Okay. If there are no more questions, the Queen seems to have said what she needed to have all of you here. And the White Witch, likewise, seems to have imparted the information that she needed to get to you. So, they'll end the call and hang up. Stop FaceTiming you. And yeah, you're able to disembark on the shore. The boat soon after kind of like undoes itself and retreats back into the mud of the shallows. Fiernay kind of turns to the group of you and says, well, I think that I have completed my side of this bargain. I would say that it has been a pleasure, but I don't like to lie. Well, don't go all mushy on me now. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll see each other, unfortunately. And they turn and make their way kind of along the shore
As they
towards
turn.
the thickening mist.
Thank you for your help, Fiernay.
They kind of like dismissively raise a hand above their shoulder. That leaves you with just the washing woman, who has kind of moved back to like washing clothes, like scrubbing them on a washboard, kind of humming to herself. So, you're headed to the Isle of Chinoha, huh? To Baldock Prison.
Any
You know how you
thoughts
get-
on what we can expect to find there?
In Baldock Prison, I've never been, but I've heard stories. It's where they put people who can use magic, powerful magic. I don't imagine that it will be your normal dungeon.
I guess I'll ask about the elephant in the room here. We all know Dane is the sword, and we're just supposed to let him be burned by dragon's fire? I don't understand.
I wish I had a better answer, to tell you the truth.
I don't think I was supposed to stick my arm inside the thing.
I certainly did not foresee that happening.
It did seem like a good idea at the time.
Rough edges of the story. It just doesn't make any sense. What are we supposed to do? The prophecy doesn't end with a misstep.
Well, and I've been thinking about this. The prophecy does talk about how to reforge the sword. It doesn't talk about me. Right? Dragonfire is not gonna burn away Camagel.
And that's
We
been
will
your
find
plan
a
this whole
path
time.
forward.
So then that's been your plan this whole time.
I wouldn't call it a plan.
Expectation.
You know, when you yeah, yeah. But it's it's like when you get sick, you get the plague and there's not a cure. You don't plan to die. You just know that that's a very likely outcome. And I'm not being my normal pity party dour self about that. Not This isn't like a woe is Dane or feel bad for me or even another thrusting my arm into a mechanical hammer. It's We all realized this was bigger than any one of us. And if the gods, I mean, forbid it, but if you or Sir John fall in battle tomorrow, none of the rest of us are picking up and going home. We're not stopping because, you know, Tord's not here to tell us what we shouldn't do, and Sir John's not here to do what we should have already done. If there's another way around it, great. I would very much like to be the old man eventually that gets to recount this tale. But if the only way that the sword gets reforged, if the only way the forces of good get to keep going, if that's the only path, we don't get to stop.
I don't pity you. I'm just mad.
I don't accept that as our only path. Is there not a way to separate him from the sword? And she's like looking at the washing woman herself.
The washing woman kind of shrugs. It was never intended for our forms to be melded. There is no precedent for this. I don't know.
I wasn't even sure that I wasn't even sure that housing Camagel, the essence inside me when we went into Baneshiel's realm, I wasn't even sure that was going to work. It was just the path forward. And if I hadn't done that, then when that hammer hit my arm with the sword in there, we would probably have a sword and one less arm.
Sir John puts his hand on Dane's shoulder and kind of gives it like a manly squeeze, and looks Dane in the eyes and says, "As my former squire, your courage does me great honor. But Dane, we will continue to find the path forward. Not all is lost yet."
Not saying it is. I'm just saying that if that is the only path, don't make me do it by myself. You have to be strong enough to help me make that sacrifice.
So John turns to the others and says, "Are you willing to do what you must to make sure this night's conviction finds a happy tomorrow?"
I swear it.
I don't believe you even have to ask us that.
So John cracks a grin and he takes his hand off of Dane's shoulder and puts it into the middle of the kind of huddle that we're in. And he says, "Then the sword of Vykaril remains whole."
I put
I'd
the
put my
not
hand in.
sword part in.
The
Camera pans, everyone looks expectantly at Ari.
What?
It's kind of a
You're
thing,
supposed to put your hand in.
Get in
It's a
here.
human thing,
right?
but I kind of like it.
Why?
Just do it.
Trust me.
Trust him.
Puts her hand in.
Go sword.
Not a Vykaril.
Hey.
It feels good. Team.
So, what about all the danger between here and there? Let's we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Literally.
I admit
Well.
my heart is turned to the south. And according to the Queen, at the very least, a portion of my father's forces are at rest in in Oxfeld, recovering from some loss. It is not the straightest path to the Isle of Chinoha, but Oxfeld is due west of here, not very far. If we could at least travel there so that I could check in, it would do my heart good.
Oh, she mentioned that things are getting worse quickly, but we've never been the most expedient of heroes. I say yes. Besides, it means I get to not be kindling for a bit longer.
I'll go where you go.
You don't have to ask.
Right then. Oxfeld.
Okay. So you reclaim your
About
Oh,
how
go ahead.
far away is Oxfeld
uh
in terms of distance and travel time?
It's like this on the map.
Yeah, it's really
That's
not.
pretty small. It's not that
Yeah.
far.
It's like to loop through Oxfeld doesn't look like it adds all that much more time than just to go straight to Astawin or somewhere and sail north.
Yeah, let me see here. So, let me get to the map again.
Besides, Oxfeld have that fancy teleportation circle. Maybe it could send us north faster to some other's kingdom, right?
Right. Maybe your dad has like a friend in the prison, and so like they had some sort of
Or even just send us a little north
right.
Yeah,
to
my dad
Vykaril
is definitely
/
the type of person to be friends with somebody who would end up in prison, and definitely the type of person to stay friends with someone who's in prison.
My thought was your dad had a friend that he then got rid of by sending her to prison.
Sure, sure.
Like,
So I imagine that Calder, or you're asking about Oxfeld. Oxfeld is probably about 3 days. There's no road that leads there, so not a well-traveled road at least. So it's going to take some time to get there from where you are, especially. Calder, it would take probably 2 days to get there because there is a road that hugs the western shore of Lake Kelmium that you'd be able to catch for part of the journey. You know that if you're going to charter a ship to take you to the north part of the shore up there, that you probably need to leave from Astawin. I just realized I'm not showing all the map. That would be helpful, Jeremy. So I imagine that y'all popped out kind of below the L and Kelmium, on the edge of the lake there, kind of just to the southwest of the lake. So Oxfeld would be, like I said, about 3 or 4 days travel, kind of bushwhacking most of the way, and then Calder, you'd be able to get there in about 2 to 3 days. Astawin is up near that sea that we talked about earlier, and you could charter a ship to get you the rest of the way from there. Yeah.
By us going to Oxfeld, we know Oxfeld has those fancy. We may be able to go to Vykaril, like
Yeah, you know that they have a
Magically.
teleportation ring there.
yeah.
Or port straight to Astawin. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
if
know.
they have
Vykaril would definitely have one, I would think, but
Yeah, Astawin has one as well.
Okay.
It's a large enough city that it does for sure.
So even though it's like kind of out of our way, it's not really. It's going to help us get north faster.
so like 3 or 4 days through the woods to Oxfeld.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, so you mount back up, like I said, reclaim your horses, and you turn westward and start to make your way that direction. As you leave the lake and the island behind you, you again kind of feel that pang of something like akin to sadness, a longing for something that you feel like you're almost leaving behind. Okay. So, the washing woman bids her goodbyes as you leave. You know, Dane, that you at least will see her again at some point. All right. So you turn westward and head across the country, across wood, headed for Oxfeld. The forest here is not as old as the northern part of the country that kind of bleeds into the Umberwood, but the trees here are still considerable in age. The the forest is kind of still as you ride out, and you realize that it's almost like there's like a coming storm. The animals seem to almost have like bedded down or found, places of refuge. But there's no like gray clouds overhead. There is no thunder to indicate such a coming storm. All of their behavior tends to kind of lead to that direction, almost like they're expecting something.
All of my senses are on alert as we're riding.
Okay. At some point,
I think are we kind of like summarizing this entire journey, or are we just doing like the first day right now?
Yeah, we're more or less just going to be kind of pushing the fast forward button.
Okay, cool. I think something that's really notable about Sir John on this leg is that like the tension of the forest and stuff doesn't seem to bother him at all. He seems to have a lot of tension of his own. And anytime that we're not traveling, like if we're at camp, he's not really relaxing and doing stuff. He's like redoubling his training. He's doing a lot of exercising and drilling and stuff like that. And you can tell that he's just like really working off some frustration that he's dealing with right now. In particular, he might come across as like especially daring or maybe even reckless in some of the things that he's trying out.
Is there anything else that we see or hear from anybody that is in the few days that it takes to travel across the forest?
Guard rides his horse. That's about the highlight.
Beautiful.
I think there's not much. We see Ari. She will be sharpening her blades when we stop. She does her movements. She no longer partakes when they are eating, but rather will go off, just kind of train, if you will. The whole time she's also kind of quiet and deep in thought. And every time her eyes would pass, across Dane, there's that look that almost a sadness, but then a resolve, and she goes back to training again, harder than before.
I think the only difference between normal action and this is, I think around the campfire, Dane is writing a lot more, but is very quiet about what he's writing. I think the times that the camera kind of like looks over his shoulders, it's letters to home, it's to his sister, it's to oddly to things like towards family, and kind of all the things that he would say when this was all done, if he doesn't get a chance to say it when it's all done.
Okay. You ride on like this for several days. And before long, you can start to see some of the outlying like farmlands and things that surround the city of Oxfeld. There have been several times in your journey where the elevation and the thinness of the trees gave you kind of an afforded view of the south, and you were able to catch occasional glimpses of what looks like maybe widening patrols that are kind of heading out from what must be West Buckshire. Your guess is that there's scouts that are probably probing where along the front is going to be the best place to make an assault.
I'm sorry, you said this is like what the soldiers seem to be doing, or this is like where some officers are discussing?
So yeah, in your journey, just based on at some point you reached a spot that you could kind of overlook a fair distance of land. You could see what looked like scouts, but they're not spies. They're absolutely like army scouts that are looking for what looks like probably defensible places to attack. It very much has the feel of forces from West Buckshire on the shoreline, probably moving inland, searching for reconnaissance about where they might attack next.
I think Sir John is going to like ride out and make himself known to one of these scouts. I think he'll say, "Hail, I am Sir John of House Lightenor. Whence do you come?"
From West Buckshire? What do you ask?
How fares the war in the south?
They kind of like look at one another. Well enough, I suppose.
I heard that there were forces recovering here after a defeat.
Yes, House Mellowayne got their asses kicked.
Not the first time. Sir John kind of like sniffs.
Have you not been home for a while?
My party and I, he kind of gestures behind him, are engaged in a quest of utmost importance. Even more important than this war, I must say. But my heart is turned toward it. My father, the Baron Nicholas Lightenor, is engaged on the front.
Just to clarify, also, these would be potential enemies that you were talking to.
Oh, crap. I thought you said they weren't enemies.
No. They look like they are coming out from West Buckshire, heading inland to look for places where they might assault next.
Got it. My bad.
Dude, I'm gonna be so honest. I thought you were just like being bold as fuck.
Same. I was
Same,
like, all right.
same.
He's just being like, yeah, bro, what you doing here?
Yeah, Ari's got her hands on her weapons.
The guy's gonna be like, we could kidnap a noble's son, and Sir John would be like, who?
A noble's son?
You fucking idiot.
I would then like to retcon some of the most recent things that I've said.
Sure.
Roll with it.
Rewind.
I still want to write out, and I still want to be bold as brass.
Okay.
I just don't really want to say like.
I'm with it.
I don't want to be like mopey with them.
Heard.
Yeah. So I've written. I
exactly
took my horse out toward them, and I've declared myself. And I've asked how the war in the south goes. And then they say that they're from West Buckshire.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to be like, and how do you find these northern lands?
Fair enough, I suppose.
Fair enough for what? The taking?
Oh, well, I mean, it's a war, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Look, you seem like a capable knight, and I've got no scrap with you. All I'm here to do is just report on what I see.
Yes. And so, you're not even worth a ransom.
Ransom? Me? I doubt you'd get 2 silver for me.
Just collateral damage, then, I suppose.
Or I could just give you the gold that I've got, go on my way, and just let them know that it's really not worth pushing the Western Front as of right now.
So, John, from this kind of vantage, we can see Oxfeld in the distance, right?
Yes, you're like starting to see like the most outlying farmlands, which is probably why the scouts are also here. They're kind of probing the edge of the front line,
Yeah.
kind of figuring out what is this direction.
Yeah.
Can I make an insight check on whether this guy would actually lie to the West Berkshire people, saying that it's not worth?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to make one as well.
Absolutely.
That's an 18 for me.
Oh, 25.
Okay. Both of you get the sensation that this individual would probably sell his mother for a hot bowl of stew. He is probably telling you what he thinks you want to hear so that he can get out of this situation, and that he will likely tell whoever it is that, you know, puts the least bit of pressure on him everything that they want to know.
And while I've kind of ridden out to face these guys, about how far away are the other three, and like, what are you guys doing?
Well, I'm definitely be within bow range. So
I'm standing next to Dane like, Jesus, he's such a badass. That's so ballsy. He's so cool. Look at that. I wouldn't do that.
Do you
Would
think
you do that?
I hold up my hand like that I shoved inside of a freaking automatic forge. No,
Those two things are not the same.
no, I wouldn't do that though.
I'm
Those are
Look at him down there.
those are
The
army
absolute
scouts.
madman.
Right. Those are army scouts. As in there's an army nearby.
We have a Sir John. Look at that guy. He's like a foot and a half shorter. There's like 3 of them, and I'm sure Sir John could take all 3 of them. I don't even have to go down there.
We can go down there
Imagine
anyway.
the guy shitting his pants when we go down there.
Right. So we're going down there.
Yeah, let's go down there.
All right.
And
So-
I'll turn my horse and
So
Go
while they
down
were
there.
bantering, Ari was because she's sizing the guy up and also getting what Sir John's feeling. She's surreptitiously pulling out the longbow and getting it ready. Kind of, trying to making sure like his focus is on Sir John, so she's trying to do this without getting his attention at all, so that it's, and even using her body to kind of shield what she's doing a little bit. So it's kind of a surprise, but not really. But
He kind of like reaches down and pulls like his belt pouch like off of his belt and kind of extends it out and gives it a little toss so it just lands a couple of feet in front of him. It's everything I've got on me.
I think Sir John's horse kind of like, I don't know what the term is, canters, I don't know, kind of moves sideways as if it's not quite like it. I briefly lose control of it. But the horse like steps to the side and happens to kind of trample the bag of coins. And Sir John gets the horse, like masters the horse, and then looks off in the direction of Oxfeld and says, "You found quite a vantage here. It would be a shame to stop here, so how about I escort you to Oxfeld so that you can make a proper report for your forces?"
That your hospitality is very, very generous, but we are expected, so we should be leaving soon.
Yes, expected by my enemy. Sir John like rests his hand on the pommel of his sword.
Well, enemy is such a strong word. Maybe
And I
things
think-
will work out.
I think maybe at this point, Sir Dane and Tord are arriving.
I would imagine so.
And they can clearly hear Sir John say, as far as I can see, the safest thing you could possibly do would be to join me in Oxfeld.
This is your friend.
Yes, we were just making acquaintance.
It's very fortunate of you. Sir John's a good friend to have. Terrible enemy. Vile enemy. But a
I-
very good friend.
Would imagine so. We were just talking about friendship. He kind of indicates the trampled bag of gold on the ground.
So you were coming with us to Oxfeld, then?
No.
You and your men.
No, no, we really were overdue. They're probably. Oh, I think they. Yes, I hear them calling for us now. We really should. We really should.
I don't know
go.
about you, Sir John, but where I'm from, denying the law of hospitality is a grievous insult.
Yes, I agree. So, Dane, I'm sure you know no shortage of tales where someone falls afoul after doing such a thing.
It's bad enough it gets written about, and it never works out well for the people who turn it down.
I'm not a superstitious man, but surely you can recognize a pattern.
I would like for someone, please, to roll intimidate. You can have advantage from all of this help that you're getting.
Sure, I can roll it. We got a 16.
Okay. As lovely as Oxfeld seems from here, I think, honestly, we've seen enough. Let's go. And they turn and they start to walk away from you.
Can I shoot an arrow that will land, that'll go past them and land in front of them, knowing that retreat is not an option right now?
Yeah, you can
How many
absolutely
is
do
there?
so. 3.
I mean, I'm sure at this point, if I knew that Ariana was going to do that, Tord, of course, knows that. Yeah, wouldn't do that, mates. I don't know what you know about elvish archers. They don't miss a second time. In fact, the first one is actually not a miss, if I'm not mistaken, Dane.
I've seen her miss one time, and she was drunk, blindfolded, and very angry. And she's only one of those right now.
So that would have been the warning arrow.
I rolled a 26 on it.
Yeah, you have no problems putting it
Be
exactly
warned.
where you planned.
If one of them has a hat, I would have loved that it slipped through the hat into the tree
Absolutely
right in front of
does.
them.
Yeah, he kind of is ducking, like holding his hands above his head.
Let me rephrase the proposition. You're coming with us to Oxfeld with your hands bound or not.
At this point, it's really a matter if you're doing it conscious or unconscious, bleeding or not bleeding.
And really, how many of you make the journey?
None of us are healers.
I cast Zone of Truth before all this to let them
Wait
know
a
that we are
second,
not
don't do
fucking
that.
around.
Because I just lied.
No, I did not.
The 3 of them kind of look to one another, look at the grouping of you. They reach down, slowly draw their weapons out, dangling their swords, and drop them.
Good man. Come on now. Knives too.
They pull their daggers and, kind of pitch them down into the dirt, blade first.
Now, these guys are on foot. They're not on horseback.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So I think then Sir John would kind of bind their hands and tie them all together in like a daisy chain and then have the other end tied to his horse.
I'll collect their weapons and the smash bag of gold.
Okay. You gather them and the gold and the weapons, and you turn once more towards Oxfeld with 3 prisoners in tow. I think this is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. So we're going to take a 10-minute bio, smoke them if you got them, refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, kiss your spouse, etc., etc. And when we come back, we will finish the second part of session 55 of Beneath the Banner's Shadow. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from our break. You were just listening to Shield Sister, a song written by our former player Josh about Ariana. So that's pretty fucking cool. Okay. So here we are in the southwestern portion of the kingdom, just outside of Oxfeld, where the four of you have managed to capture 3 scouts belonging to the forces that hold West Buckshire. Based on their livery and the colors that they sport, they seem to belong to House Durholt, who is the shield bearer that holds West Buckshire. Is there anything that you want to say or do before you ride into Oxfeld proper?
I was trying to remember. I think my squire Balin is still with us right now, right? Like I have some vague memory that we had been like, "Hey, dude, you should hang back" or something. But
Yeah.
I think maybe that didn't work.
I think that you had, whenever you went to sail into the lake to find the island. But
Got it. Okay.
I imagine that he probably has caught up with you at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think as we're riding into the town, so John is just giving this kid some primers on how to like basically not make any egregious errors as a squire in human lands. Kind of a, be seen, not heard until I call for you kind of thing.
He's absolutely doing that thing where, like, every new thing that you say, he repeats everything that you said before it, and then includes that as like an addendum to the list that's growing in his head.
Cool.
Anybody else? No? Okay. Okay. The farmlands start to become a little smaller and closer together as you approach the city. The city of Oxfeld is considerable in size, and before you actually reach its walls, you can see, in particular, the Temple of Evendel, Temple of the Justicars, which is where a considerable number of their followers call home. It also happens that it makes up the primary fighting force of the city of Oxfeld. However, until recent days, that fealty was sworn to House Mellowayne, which was very recently and soundly bested by the combination of House Leithnor and House Lathelbrun. And Deidre Mellowayne, the head of the Shield House, was, I believe, executed. I could be wrong about that, but I think she was put to the sword. It's been a little while. But it has now been given over to the Leithnor house. And you can see the red, yellow, and black of House Leithnor's livery kind of flown on the walls and throughout the city. It seems like the city guard that are not members of the Justicars are now sporting the heraldry that you're very familiar with, belonging to House Leithnor. These scouts are not greeted very well. A lot of the people in the street start immediately kind of throwing like rotten vegetables, rotten eggs, pieces of loaves of bread, rocks at them as they are basically paraded in through the front gates. They don't seem very, very pleased that they're here.
I think so I know the city layout fairly well. There's like a town center or whatever, like a keep that I would be headed to talk to whoever's in charge now. But we are right next to the Justicar Temple. Is it like a bit of a hike between here and our ultimate destination, or are they like closely, located?
So they're not like right next to one another, but they're both kind of towards the central part of the city.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, so John's not really going to do anything to shield these guys. Everybody else in the party can make your own decision, but Sir John's not making a special effort.
I think Ari's falling behind them so that if one gets away, for some reason, she's there to recapture that kind of thing. So also not getting in the way of the people throwing things.
Totally fair. Okay. We are now currently no longer in the realm of House Shom. We are in the realm of House Lightenor. Moment. Okay. So yeah, they continue to be pelted and harangued as you kind of like make your way towards the central keep. And by the time that you reach it, the green and black heraldry that these scouts sported is far dirtier than it was even whenever they were traipsing through the forest. You are waved through. Sir John and Sir Dane both sport the colors of House Lightenor. Like nobody gives you a second look, other than just in your resplendentness. The fact that you are dripping with magical equipment and are highly armed and armored. Not to mention the fact that tale of many of your deeds has started to spread pretty far and wide at this point. You are left to your own devices as you ride through the gates into the courtyard of the keep, where you're able to dismount your horses, and a stable hand will come out and collect them from you to take them to care for them while you're here. One of the stable hands summons a guard whenever he notices that you have prisoners, and there will be a small contingent of guards, probably 4 of them, that come over and they say, "Where did you find these lot?"
Out on the outskirts of the city, they were scouting on behalf of West Buckshire.
Snooping, are you?
Yes, indeed. Consider it a gift from House Lightenor to the Justicars, or whoever would be most interested in learning about our enemy.
Oh, well, maybe after we're done questioning, maybe we'll give him over to the Justicars. I'm sure they're hungry for something to do.
Yes, I imagine so. Who's in charge
They're,
here?
Shaking their heads. Sir Rowland.
All right, very well. And I turn back to my party, my friends. I'm like, we're in good hands here. Come, let me introduce you.
They take the prisoners with them. The stable hand takes the horses, and you are left to climb the steps up and into the keep of Oxfeld. Again, where the gold and black livery of House Mellowain had flown months ago, that has all been replaced with the eagle standard of red and field of black and yellow of House Lycanor. People here seem to be picking up the pieces of the conflict that had happened a few months back when this place changed hands. But there's also this urgency that feels like it has a similar energy to what you felt in the forest. This preparation for a coming storm. Like, you can see things being gathered, defenses being bolstered. These people are preparing for war once again. You are able to make your way up and into I just completely lost the term. The place where they receive people to talk to.
Fort?
Audience chamber.
Audience chamber. That's it. Thank you, Karen. MVP. Yeah, to where the audience chamber is. And as you enter, the guards at the door, again, don't ask for your name or your credentials. They know who you are, and let you pass. And you can overhear the man standing in the middle of the room, again, kind of like poring over a table full of maps. He's like, no, I don't give a damn. There's already reports of them spying this way. We have to consider the possibility that they may strike here. I want those walls mended, and I want it done yesterday. You can see an older gentleman who is probably completely invisible, because I didn't turn the picture on.
Guys, we just got the see invisibility thing.
You see an older individual who definitely looks like he has been around the business end of a sword more than once. He has some scars that have long since healed. He has this kind of like almost lion mane of like golden hair that's shocked through with white, and a large kind of Van Dyke style facial hair, and these eyes that are almost like a predatory bird. They're like kind of sharp and darting around, and almost seem to be considering everything that they're viewing. But at the same time, you can also still see some semblance of the Lycanor bloodline in his demeanor, in the way that he speaks. The other members of the council or what have you are gathered around, kind of poring over these maps with him. They seem to understand the urgency that he is speaking of, and seem eager to do what he's asked. As you enter the room, they all kind of like stop what they're doing and look up at you. And there's a flash of recognition that happens across Sir Rowland's face. John! He kind of comes around the edge of the table. I did not expect to see you.
I did not expect to see you in charge of Oxfeld. Well done.
Yeah, I'm very, very honored to have the privilege. Though, it seems it may not be long before my metal is tested. You've come just in time.
Such is the way of war.
Indeed. Are you here to join us?
Introductions are in order.
Oh, please, yes. Forgive me.
My squire, Balin.
Balin?
And, you know, I instructed him to, like, curtsy whenever I introduce him or whatever. Or give his little bow. Curtsy is what dames do. Little damettes, little dames in training. Anyway. Balin, my squire. my former squire, Sir Dane, also
You're
of
on
House
to your
Lightnor.
second already. You've been promoted. He extends a
good
hand
cause.
towards you, Dane. It's always
It
exciting.
took a large number of barrels, but I got there.
Huh? He had you rolling barrels, did he? Seems
I
a
had some
time I
good advice
remember
once.
when. Seems a time I remember when he was rolling barrels.
I've heard about those uphill both ways, snow and
Was that
barefoot
what
and
he
all
told
that.
you? Hmm. I'm sure he left out the privilege of having a noble father.
Well, it was a comfortable bed after the barrels had been rolled.
Indeed. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Sir Dane, was it? Always exciting to see when a young knight is first getting his stirrups.
And next we have Sir Tord, Sir Masaka Tord, who is sworn to House Pendrake, but who hails from Shannon, distantly to the south and east.
Yes. Ingorian. I see they make your people as large as your horses.
Well, it's hard to say which came first. I'd like to think it was the horses, because otherwise there'd be quite a few squished small ones.
I suppose so. Well, you travel in good company with my cousin.
He's a good friend of mine, an honored companion.
I'm sure he is happy to have you at his side. You seem a formidable man.
Would the part of our story where like Sir Tord and I are said to need to like be sworn to duel each other to the death be something that has like escaped our group and has spread around?
Potentially. Let me see. Let me see if he's heard this. Okay. He rolled a natural 20. So he kind of shakes your hand toward and he says, though I have to ask. Sir Masaka Tord, yes?
You may ask what you will.
The Swordbreaker?
That is me.
I heard that you were destined to kill my cousin.
Well, destined to
he,
fight me.
Oh,
Hard to say.
perhaps we've heard two different versions of the story then, cousin.
He will test my mettle, that is certain.
Well,
No one knows how a story ends.
indeed. The fact that you are friends today may make a story very interesting for tomorrow, if it is to end the way that destiny has told it. But, forgive me, I do like my legends.
And speaking of legends, last but not least, Arianagil of House Benchiol. I pause for effect, far to the north.
He extends his hand, and if Ari offers hers,
I think Ari was already in like a bow, kind of leg back, torso bow. So she didn't even actually see his hand go out.
he kind of like looks awkwardly to the rest of you, and then like mimics your bow. Just assuming that this must be the way that elves do things. From the north of Ginden's Wall.
Aye.
Very interesting. You have traveled very far. You are also a friend of my cousin's.
One could say that, yes.
Are you also fated to duel him to the death?
She just looks at Sir John.
Form an orderly line, please.
Well, you all seem to be quite suited for a life of adventure.
We have weathered many storms, and still we are driven by terrible purpose. You asked if we were here to support your armies.
Yes. It would be a large boon.
We cannot wait for a siege to strike, nor for it to end, but we should talk more about how we might help while we're here.
Well, I am sad to hear of it, but I am certain that whatever aid that you can lend us will be most welcomed. And until then, please, I am more than willing to offer whatever hospitality I can provide.
I think Sir John kind of turns to everybody else at this point and says, we could use lodging for at least a few days, and then we would very much like to use the teleportation circle to reach Astuwin with all haste.
Astuwin? Very well. I think I can arrange that. And yes, you can stay as long as you'd like.
Thank you.
I'll tap into some of House Mellowayne's reserve.
That is good. Yeah, they have brought shame upon our family, and I'm eager to reclaim it.
Well, I know nothing about erasing shame, but perhaps we may add. And he kind of puts his arm around your shoulder and says, "Come, I will show you the state of things." And he kind of leads you back over towards the table with all the gathered maps.
Sir John kind of looks over his shoulder and, beckons his friends to join him.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
follow.
And with that, he kind of lays out the situation, similar to what you had already heard it was previously, but obviously with a little bit more of a slant towards his view of it. He's mostly concerned with just what's going on here on the Western Front. He welcomes the news that scouts had already reached the borders of Oxfeld, and he promptly orders for the patrol along the southern marches of the barony to be increased. And makes good on his word. He brings out a cask of very fine mead, serves it around as long as you wish to drink it. He's a good host. He'll, cook a proper dinner for you, and not quite a feast, but, pretty close. And the lodgings that you are given are comfortable, warm, dry, and you're able to spend a little bit of time relaxing. Though as relaxing as it is for you, there is still this ever-present bustle all around you in the keep and in the surrounding city. People are definitely expecting that Oxfeld may very well be the next target, or at least one of the next targets. It seems to be kind of anybody's guess whether the gathered army in the south is going to be pushing the eastern or the western front. Is there anything that you want to do? Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Each one of you, if you would, please, tell me something that you get up to or enjoy, or a discussion that you might have while you're staying here under the hospitality of Sir Rowland.
Lord is playing games of chance with the bag of money he took off the ground.
Excellent. Yeah. You have proficiency with any kind of gaming? What do they call them? Gaming tools? No.
Gaming says, sure don't. I ain't good at the game. I just like playing them.
All right, fair enough. Are you playing straight or are you trying to cheat?
I'm probably playing fair.
Okay. Then roll me a wisdom check.
18.
18. Okay. So you actually net a positive. You end up winning more than you lose. So you end up walking away with, we'll call it, the equivalent of 74 gold pieces. All told.
Hot down.
Anybody else?
Sir John's going to spend at least like an afternoon sometime working with Sir Rollin and the forces of Oxfeld to train them in his art, the basics of his art, kind of like the foundational concepts, and then maybe like one or two killer moves.
Hell yeah. The Lightnor soldiers are all trained in a lot of the same methods that you were. So they take pretty naturally to a lot of your extrapolations. They catch on kind of quickly because it kind of fits their general fighting style anyways.
Yeah. And I'm curious, not too long ago, I had summoned some Lightnor Knights to teach them things and then take them back to Kerwall to spread among the soldiers. And so, like, I haven't really asked after soldiers from Kerwall yet, but do I notice, like, real familiarity among the people that I'm training?
I
Among
think
anybody?
so. Yeah, probably even more so than what I was just talking about. You know, like not only do they have that familiarity from your early training days, but you actually see some of the new stuff that you have definitely practiced and passed on to those knights that you trained. And it seems like that training has kind of been passed on again.
Cool. So in that case, I correct some of the mistakes from the telephone game that had happened.
Of course. And some of the things you may have tweaked since.
Yeah. No, that was garbage. That was 2 months ago. This is what you should pay attention to now.
Amazing. Excellent. Anybody else?
Dane is going to hire a messenger to take this stack of letters that he's written over the last week all the way to Raisinfleet.
Okay.
They're all addressed to Eddard. He'll know what to do with them, like Dane knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll pay him pretty well. Because obviously there's a war brewing and you know, not the thing, but like this is like a priority sort of thing, you know? Like I'm not just gonna go find Slub the farmer who doesn't have potatoes to take care of right this second, you know?
Sure. You actually find a half-elven woman who seems not troubled to kind of have a good reason to kind of leave the city. Yeah, she seems like this is a good opportunity that kind of fulfills two different things at once.
The only letter in there that won't be addressed specifically to Eddard is going to be, I can't remember the lady's name, but the woman and child that we sent there some months ago for Sanctuary, it'll be addressed to them just to like check in on them, like, hey, how are things going type of.
I think from Warrington, right?
I'm pretty sure like 95% yes.
Okay.
But you know, is that's the other group that would be there. But the rest of them are just in this bundle, um, that he'll give to the messenger to do that with a you know, a letter to Eddard, you know, basically saying, "Hey, if you find out that I died, I need you to get these all sent to the appropriate places."
Okay. Yeah,
I
the
think if
messenger will gladly take them. Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember when we were talking to the queen earlier, it was a little unclear to me if she said that like Raisin should remain watchful and stay put, or if there are forces that she thought they might be able to commit to the south.
She said that she basically is expecting to hear from them like any moment about whether they
Okay.
could expend, the people. Because Raisinfleet also is kind of regaining its footing. It hasn't been that long since House Pendrake has taken over there. So there's definitely kind of like a regime shift that is kind of happening there. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think then Sir John would ask Dane to tack on to one of his letters, like, and hey, if you get the call from the Queen, even a small force could be valuable.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't do it. I mean, what? Yeah. Um,
I think Ari spent a lot of time in the first day, like kind of pacing, a little bit anxious to get going. And so I think at some point then she just kind of takes to the streets of Oxfeld and walks them. Not like that. um,
guys,
and
we're not poor. Gambling, street walking.
well, you may not be poor.
Everyone's like, well, it's the end of the world.
But she's gonna walk the streets of Oxfeld, and maybe at some point she finds this gathering of old women who are, maybe mending clothes, talking, whatever, and she would join them and just chat with people who have been here longer than 20 years.
Yeah, they're definitely able to tell you, the history of this place a lot better. They don't seem as concerned as a lot of the other people. They're like, Oxfeld has always stood here. It will always be here. Just the color of the flag that they fly changes.
And I think Ari finds a little bit of comfort in this talk of something that's, like longer than 2 decades ago kind of thing, because everything lately has been so immediate and pressing that it's nice to talk to somebody who's lived longer, seen more.
Absolutely. Okay. So, how long do you intend to stay?
If you're asking Ari, 5 minutes. Did what we had to do and we're out of here. But
I'd like to send a couple other messages, but I would like to get on the road quickly.
Okay. You are able to take care of whatever business it is that you're looking to take care of. That's not a problem at all. Messengers, things that you need to resupply, or sharpening your weapons, cleaning your armor, feeding your horses. All of this is easily accomplishable in a city the size of Oxfeld. Eventually, your cousin comes to find you to let you know that the teleportation circle has been prepared, and that the way to Astawin is awaiting you.
Yeah, so I think I say, thank you. It's high time we set out. We haven't a moment to lose. I wonder, could you do me the favor of delivering this message with all haste to the dwarves of Tralech? Tralech.
Dwarves of Tralech. Yes, I suppose so. I can try to find a messenger that can get it there. It may have to change hands a few times, but I'm certain that we can arrange it.
Shoot, hold on just a second. Who are these people? I'm trying to remember all these stinking names. Okay. If you can get it at least as far as Cavalon, the Duchess Wainwright should be able to send it the rest of the way.
I certainly think that is attainable.
And
you sure that I couldn't convince you to stay? We really could use the Eagle of House Lightnor.
I wish I could. I do.
Well, it was worth asking.
I can tell you that when my quest is fulfilled, nothing will keep me from drawing my blade in service of House Lightnor and the war that we fight. But for now, there's nothing more important for the war or for the realm than the quest in which we are engaged.
I do have to ask, what is the secrecy around this quest? What is it that you're up to?
So Sir Rollin is older than me, and I think that he wasn't I wasn't a squire to Sir Rollin, but he was somebody who I looked up to when I was a kid, and he taught me some tricks and stuff. I think I know him to be a solid dude.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, and I don't even know if the party is near me right now, but whether or not they are, Dane, what would a stranger think of you to see Camagel coming out at you? Do you just flaunt that, or do you conceal it, or what? What would be someone's impression?
I think for the most part, whenever we go into somewhere new, it just looks like a paranoid knight who always has his hand on a sword. Is it's slid down into the sheath, It might be awkward, people looking at it going, if he's right-handed, why would he draw from his right hip? But, because it would just sort of look that way. I'm not going to walk around with my hand crossed across me, but it's sort of low slung onto my leg now, and a long sleeve lets it sort of drop down, so it looks like he just always has his hand on his sword, which probably creates a lot of tension and paranoia in certain places, but it's probably less tension than that dude has a sword for an arm.
Okay. So I think Sir John kind of clasps Rollin on the shoulder. And he says, "The realm has waited for the return of Camagel." And surreptitiously, Sir John glances over at Dane. And he says, "We are waiting no longer."
Camagel has been missing?
Not in such missing, but the return of a united banner, an emblem to march under. We've drawn so closely into our banner houses that we have forgot what it's like to sit around that round table and call those other shields brothers, because there isn't a larger emblem to look to. We're hoping to change that.
He nods. And this would be you. He looks at you, Dane, because Sir John was indicating your direction.
I will have a part in it. I carry very specific charge from the Queen and others. One that not even those I travel with are completely aware of in its entirety. In fact, they just became more enlightened a few days ago before we came here.
And I can tell you, this charge could not be in finer hands.
And
He kind of nods as if he doesn't fully understand, but he thinks that he gets the overall impression. Well, if it is an errand for Her Highness, then I am happy to have helped in some small way. Honored, in fact. Long live the Queen.
Long live the Queen.
Very well, cousin. I am not sure when it is that we will see one another again, but if the gods are watching, then perhaps it will not be too long.
I shall pray for the same. Farewell, cousin. This has been a joy unlooked for.
Travel safe, and, well, I suppose I should wish you luck.
I think I'm gonna like not just grab him on the shoulder, but kind of like behind the head, and come in for like a bro hug. I think I'm gonna be like, give him hell out there. Boom.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are able to make your way towards the, I guess it would be called a teleportation house? A teleport? I don't know.
you gotta walk in across the teleporch
Mm-hmm.
to the door, and then
Check in with customs.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, you are able to head in. They have this large stone circle that has been here for a long time. You can tell just by how integrated it is into the room, how worn the actual stones are themselves. Each of them kind of bearing a slightly different carved rune in them, and the runes are kind of activated in a specific sequence, one that is tied specifically to Astawin, almost like Stargate or like a rotary phone. And as each one of these is activated, it glows brightly. And when the last one has been, kind of turned on, the center of this circle of stones begins to kind of warp and twist into a fluid surface. Again, not unlike Stargate, and you are able to walk through. You come out just a moment later on the other side, but the sensation that you get as you are making this transition is almost one like you are being pulled, like your entire body is almost trying to separate from itself, and then slammed back together with considerable force. Most of the effect is felt in your stomach. There is a feeling almost as if you had been turned upside down, and then put back on upright, like in an instant. So there's this upheaval of the contents of your stomach. But when you step forward, you now find yourself in a similarly built room, but now in the city of Astawin.
I'll not ever get used to that feeling. Ugh.
All right.
I don't know. Kind of like it.
All right. After you gather yourselves for a moment, you are no longer in the lands of House Lightenor, but are now in the lands of House Thurnbow.
So this is only like the second time that we've done this. Do they magically phone ahead and say, "Hey, there's people coming," or do we step out to a bunch of like spears pointed at us, going, "What the hell?"
There's definitely like messaging that is sent,
Okay.
so that they can expect. I mean, they don't know who you are necessarily, but they know that there's a certain number of people that are coming forth, and so immediately upon your exiting, there are questions of what are you doing here? What how can we help you? There's definitely not a sense of like an immediate defense, anything like that. It's more of a hospitality.
Because these aren't the way teleportation works. It's not like a commonly used thing, right? Like it's a high end.
Correct. Yeah, this is not the kind of thing where like a farmer and his cows comes through.
Right. And
you're not
with
like
everyone
waiting
being
in a
on the
line.
verge of war, realizing these teleportation circles could be used for invasion.
Yes, theoretically at least. Yeah. They're pretty heavily guarded. They're almost always buried pretty deep within a building.
Right.
In a
small room, so you can't bring a whole army.
Right. And there's always like a series of doors that you kind of have to go through in order to access it. And there's always somebody present.
And we've always had to leave our horses behind every single time.
Right. But I don't know if that's like a matter of like the size of the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if that's like you turn into a horseman if you both go through type of.
Dane comes out with Ari's head. No big deal.
Sword for an arm, towards horse for his lower half. Yeah, not great. Okay, I was just curious.
Okay. Astwin is a coastal city. Also of decent size. It is a port on the let me see. The Dragon's Sea, which is the sea that is to the north. The Isle of Chinoha is kind of north of the Dragon's Sea. You know that you, from here, can charter a ship to take you to the city that is directly across from the Isle of Chinoha, which is where people who are headed to Baldock Prison have to basically stop and check in. And that city's name is Klaus. Clous. That you can charter a ship to sail there in 3 to 4 days across the Dragon's Sea, or if you attempt to make the trek on foot or horse, there is no road, and it would take about 3 weeks of travel. If you charter a ship, you can sail along the coastline, which would take about 4 days, but is a safer journey, or you can sail directly across the Dragon's Sea, and it saves about a day off of the journey, but is a bit more treacherous. But everywhere you look in Astwin, it is very much a city that lives and breathes off of the ocean. You can see a ton of fishermen and people selling all kinds of sea life and trade goods to deal with sailing. There's a lot of crewmen that are from the various ships that are in port, as well as any kind of business that you can think of that would benefit or supply mercantile trade. What's the plan?
I
Now that
have
you're
a
here.
question.
I might have an
When you
answer.
say they put the people in the
Baldock
prison,
Mhm.
Baldock prison, who is the they that decides this? Like, who's in charge of this prison?
So this prison's been around for a long time, and like everything else, every other castle or keep here, it changes hands periodically depending on who's in charge. But I would imagine that one of the three individuals that you're traveling with, if not all three of them, could probably tell you that the person who currently is the steward or the warden of Baldock Prison is House Glaudel. In particular, it's actually somebody that you have briefly met at the capital. His name is Sir Dokern Glaudel.
And who decides who goes to this prison? Is it Sir Dokern Glaudel that chooses, or is it the Queen?
It's usually, yeah, the monarch, the crown, that decides these things.
Sorry, I know this just happened in this session, but she was with us when the White Witch was saying that we needed this person, right? She was there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. We should have asked her for permission to give this guy.
We have it. It's okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
It'll be fine.
So, now that you are in the port town of Astawin, which also, I might add, is the home of a certain paramour. What's the plan? What you gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta look up someone's girlfriend real quick. Right. So, should we just pick any boat? Anybody know how to pick a good boat?
Find the one that all the people are going on, and take that one. Don't go on the one that nobody's going on, because I don't think that would be a very good idea.
I've I've only ever been in a lake, a river.
Mhm.
This is a lot bigger than I was thinking it was.
I understand it's
The water part
Yeah.
is. But if we go with the one that has a lot of people on it, doesn't that make the boat heavier?
Or slower?
Well, if it's the one that all the people are going on, that's also the one they all trust. If they're not going on that one, I don't think I would trust that one. I would trust the one that everybody's putting their lives in.
But that's not how carriages work.
It's not a carriage.
It,
It's not a road. Look at it.
it's
It's vast and dark.
it can't be that terrible because the guy from the south took an army across it. Not this one, but is that the same ocean? The same sea? Does it connect? How does has anyone ever been on a boat like this?
Jeremy, you may be muted.
Oh, no, I was
Just making
singing Lonely
Oh.
Island, yeah. I'm
Oh,
on a
got it,
boat,
okay.
motherfucker, on a boat.
right
Yeah.
fucking dolphins and shit.
In all truth, I have not been on a boat of this size before.
Right. Right. And
And I want to clarify something that you said earlier. You said that to go by land, it was 3 weeks, and to take a boat, it only saves like 1 day off of that?
No. So if you go by land, it's going to be about 3 weeks of travel because
Okay.
there's no road that connects them. If the boat that you take hugs the shoreline, it'll be about 4 days.
Okay.
If it sails directly from here to Klaus across the Dragon's Sea, it'll shave a day off. It'll be a 3-day journey. It is just
Got
a little
it.
bit more treacherous.
Got it.
right. So
Well,
we're agreed though that the 3 weeks is out. Right? That's not like a
absolutely not.
option.
And we're supposed to meet a dragon, but we're supposed to meet a dragon after we free this guy from prison. So I don't know that we need to go over the Dragon Sea. I think the shore.
I think the whole thing out here is the Dragon Sea. Like
Well,
all the water.
surely it's shallower and calmer near the shore, right?
I have only ever heard of shipwrecks on land. I think there's
Oh,
more things for them to run into closer, but there's bigger fish things deeper. Like Dane's like digging through his bag, like trying to find some of his like books of like fairy tales and adventures, like looking for one that talks about this, and like, sure, nope, like knights, horses, dragons, griffins, got it. Boats, not things that really make it to small fishing villages or small farming villages, you know?
I think
Well-
Ari just grabs some stranger that's just happens to be passing him at this moment, just grabs him by the arm and goes, "We want to get to Klaus. What's the best and safest way to do so? Also shortest."
How the hell should I know?
"Well, you live here. Don't you? Oh,
I
never
don't go
mind."
to
She,
Klaus.
she pushes him, grabs another one,
right.
and says the same thing.
After
She'll
2 or
harass the
3 of these,
townsfolk.
eventually you hear a voice kind of call out, "You looking for passage?"
She'll give him the up and down to see if he's what he looks like.
So as you kind of look for the source of this voice, you find not a he, but a
Oh,
she.
she. Okay.
You see an orc, an Angorian, who is kind of leaning against a post. You're not really sure how long she's been watching you kind of like flounder around the crowd, kind of trying to find somebody who knows what the hell you're talking about. But she's definitely wearing a smirk on her face. So it seems like she's enjoying this spectacle. She's got her arms kind of crossed across her chest. She's very much dressed like a mariner, like a person of the sea. She looks at you and kind of shakes her head and repeats the question. "Are you looking for passage?"
Aye.
So Dane leans into Tord. If she was good at her job, wouldn't people come to her?
I think this is a sales tactic. I've heard of this one before. The bait and switch.
Maybe the bait or the switch?
I don't know.
cat got your tongues.
Sorry. Yes. Yes. We need to get to Klaus. Yes.
Klaus. That's a decent clip.
Yes. Like 3 or 4 days. Right.
You look like you got money.
Well, forgive me. Do you look like you have a boat?
Well, it's not mine, but I sail on one.
So do we need to talk to you or the person who has the boat?
Well, I can speak to my captain. If you're looking for passage, we can certainly arrange it.
Right. I kind of looked at everybody else like, I have no idea. But
Is there lots of people who go on your boat?
To Klaus? Well, there's a few. Mostly people that are going on holiday, but I don't think you're going on holiday.
So it's a good boat?
It's the best that sails these waters.
Of course you'd say that.
Are you a good fighter?
No.
Is there a lot of fighting on boats?
Sometimes.
Is there a boat that you wouldn't have to fight on?
Depends. The moment that you step foot on a boat, I would imagine that there's quite a few people that might want to fight on it.
She has that effect on people. That's very true.
I could see that.
But why? Is it like a floating, like, dueling ring?
No. It's not a tournament, love. It's sometimes you have to fend off pirates. Or if you are a pirate, you have to jump on other people's boats.
Are you a pirate?
Not at the moment.
It's good enough for me. Like Dane's like, I don't know if I can trust her, but that's the most honest answer you can give somebody.
Look, as long as I'm sailing with a good crew and we're making money, I don't see any reason to cut corners, but sometimes desperation calls for it. I've been known to cut a few corners, if you know what I mean.
Throats. You mean throats.
Look, you have a sword for an arm. The rest of
I
you are
pull my
carrying...
sleeve down. Like,
The rest of you look like you know what you're doing. I don't think that there's any reason to mince words here. We do what we have to do. You need to get to Klaus. I can get you there. Well, my captain and crew can. If you're not interested, or you don't trust me, I understand. We can part ways.
if we're being honest, we are interested, but we don't entirely trust you.
That's fair.
So
Probably smart.
should we
You want me
talk
to
to
earn
the
your trust?
captain?
Yes,
Sure.
take us to your ship.
Very well. Right this way. You'll be able to find the fair-faced lady right down at the end of the dock. She kind of leans, kind of stands up, rights herself off of the post, and starts to lead you down towards where the ships are all docked. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I think we might be bait.
At least you're masters at it.
They'd be
Don't think about it too hard. Okay. So, like I said, a lot of talking, because I wasn't exactly sure what method y'all were going to use as far as your approach. So, next time we will talk to a captain and maybe set sail on a boat. It's pretty exciting. Cool. Okay. It was good to get back to this. It had been a while since we'd gotten to play, so it's nice to kind of, again, take what feels like a good step forward towards the next bullet point on your quest. I'm excited. I think all of the games... No, I take that back. 3 of the 4 games that I'm running are all in like their 3rd act of the story at the same time, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, I'm very excited to come back to the table next time with this one and figure out what's going to happen next. I am really, really, really excited for y'all to finally get to Balled Up Prison, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Am I right in thinking that's the place where we played out the prologue?
No.
Or where we ended up?
I'm trying to remember. You might have ended up there, maybe. I'll have to go back and watch it again. I don't remember. But it was definitely in an attempt to steal Camagel.
I mean, we did
That's
steal
true.
Camagel.
You did steal it.
and then give it to somebody that we don't know, and then got framed for it, where some of us did end up going to prison.
There you go. So yeah. Cool. Thank all of you very, very much for just being the best people to spend time with. It's always so good to, again, just to sit around and bullshit with y'all for a little while. Cool. I'm going to pass things back over to my players so that they can give any kind of parting words that they would like, file any official complaints, or, share recipes, whatever. And then we're going to call it a night. So we're going to start in reverse order with Steve.
I have no complaints. I'm glad to have gotten to play again. It's miss hanging out with you guys. Yeah, I guess the only complaint I have is that I don't get to play as often as the rest of you do. Maybe life will settle the shit down. Or I'll just start running a game. That way I don't have to wait for another game just to open up. Who knows? We'll figure it out. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. Love you guys, and look forward to next time.
Hell yeah, brother. Love you too, man. And I hope that things continue to level out for you. Because God knows you deserve it. All right. Speaking of deserving it, next up is Eli. I don't know what that means, but there you go.
Boy, don't I. Nice to be here with y'all for sure. There was the moment earlier where Jeremy, you had suggested that maybe we had been to Calder already. And I did a quick Control F in my notes document, and there was nothing in there. And I was just like overwhelmed with the understanding that meant that at no point in 55 sessions of play had that place been mentioned. And like I remembered it from the map, but I was still just like, man, we've been playing a long time, and I don't think we actually had been there. It's easy to like forget the details in that amount of time, right? But it's just like to see that it wasn't there, I was like, whoa, something we haven't done in all this time. Wow. So yeah, it was a fun thing to realize, and looking forward to doing new things in future sessions as well.
Hell yeah, man. Every time I have to sit down and kind of go back over my notes to prepare for a session of this game, it's daunting, to say the least. I'm glad I am as organized with my notes as I am, but it still sometimes doesn't feel like I'm organized enough. There's still times where I'm like, where the fuck did I save that? Like, I know I did that at some point. Where is it? So yeah, I think it's equally amazing that after playing 8 years, that I still don't know what the fuck y'all are gonna do in any given moment. I can plan for one thing, and that's just not what's gonna happen, or at least not for several sessions.
That makes 5 of us.
Yep, that tracks. So yeah, that's a really invigorating experience as a dungeon master to still be surprised after sitting down to play this for 8 years. So thank you for being those kinds of people. Speaking of the 8-year surprise, I have no idea what that means. Next up, Karen.
It was so good to get back to this game. It's been a while and I've missed it. Yeah, this is one of my favorite games. So I'm really glad that we got to play this month. I cannot wait for the next session. And it's really good to know that us Chaos Gremlins still have it.
Haven't lost a
Anyway.
step.
Haven't lost a step. They're still confusing all of us, so it's amazing. Yeah, I have nothing much more to say. I just can't wait for the next session. This one felt really good, actually. I guess I have more to say. We got a lot done. Like, it may have only been a talking only session, but I feel like we got a lot done. Like, a lot got accomplished in this session to move the story forward. So I'm pretty excited about what's coming up, and I'm also surprised that we have never actually been to the sea before in our 8 years of traipsing around the continent. So that's kind of cool. Yeah,
it's definitely one leg of adventure that you haven't covered yet. So I am excited to be dipping our toes into the water, as it were. So yeah, very excited for what I think is next, and the fact that we are rocketing towards bullet point number 5. Who knows, y'all? We might just pull this off. Excellent. All right. Last but certainly not least, speaking of maybe pulling this off, Baron.
I was gonna say, speaking of toes in the water.
Speaking of toes in the water.
Hey guys, I'm Baron. I had fun. When you're at the end, you can only echo what everyone else said before it gets redundant. So, post that scheduled date tomorrow, man.
If only. I have another game Tuesday night that I have to prepare for tomorrow.
Maybe some dates?
Maybe some dates, yeah. I will float out some dates here soon so that we can get a July session prepped and in the books. And yeah, maybe keep some momentum going. It'd be great. All right. Thank you, everybody who tuned in and watched this game, whether you watched it live with us or whether you are watching it at some point in the future. Genuinely, it means a lot to me that that these games are entertainment to somebody, or maybe they're learning the game by watching these. I hope not, because this would be a terrible tutorial. But you know, if you take something away from it, that's amazing to me, because at the end of the day, we are just screwing off and rolling dice. So the fact that that can be worth something to someone is really cool. So thank you for being here with us. If you did enjoy what you saw, then please do all the stuff that the algorithm needs to feed itself. Hit the like button, share the link around, leave a comment, share it with your friends, play Dungeons & Dragons, play an Arthurian version of D&D. It's a lot of fun. Get some chuckleheads of your own around you and, you know, goof off and roll dice. Okay. I think that's just about the only thing that we have going on here. Remember that kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to someone else, and please, 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 we need more kind people in the world to outweigh the roaming drove of dickheads that are out there for whatever reason. So go out and be kind. All right. I think we're done here. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I hope that everybody has an incredible week ahead of you. For those of you who will be celebrating stateside here in the next weekend, have a happy and safe 4th of July, celebrating the 250th anniversary of this country, that hopefully is not going to go up in a ball of flame anytime soon. But we'll see. So, until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.
птиц.